What's up? Brandon Lilly here, coming at you with 5 deadlift tips that will absolutely improve your deadlift in a matter of weeks. Number 1, do all your pulls standing on a plate. You don't need to do a huge deficit to get a great deal of benefit, especially if you're a conventional puller. This is going to force you to squat a little bit more, get the hips a little bit lower, and get more leg drive. One of the things that I've heard conflicting information about is thinking about squatting the weight up. That's one of the best cues I've given myself and other lifters. What I tell people to do is imagine that you have a bar riding across your back. It's like you're squatting. You want to get the head elevated, keep the chest up, and do the lift like you're doing a leg press. You know, like when you're down on the bottom of a leg press and you're really squeezing the handles and you're pressing the legs through. Try to mimic that feel whenever you're deadlifting, standing on a plate or even on the floor. It's gonna give you a lot more drive with your legs through the hamstrings, glutes, quads. It's an excellent tool for conventional deadlifters to use, but I also like it for sumo pullers. That brings me to my next point. Do both kinds of pulls. Don't be proficient at one and deficient at the other. At my very best, I've pulled 785 sumo, and I've pulled 815 or 816 in gear or raw in conventional. The 785 sumo was done in gear, but I've pulled 765 raw sumo. Work both of them. You know, things can happen. You can be, you know, your leverages can change from time to time. You can get more flexibility, but the main thing is focus on keeping both strength levels high because they work different muscle groups. The sumo type pull tends to lend itself more towards the squat. I think the conventional deadlift is just for all overall strength and power building. The third tip is rep work. Make sure you're doing lots of rep work because that's where you're going to build the muscles that actually allow you to grow your deadlift. You know, so many guys get into the habit of chasing 1 rep lifts. You know, they go so heavy that it's always 1 rep, 1 rep, 1 rep, 1 rep. That doesn't build musculature. What you need to be doing is thinking about sets of 5, 6, even 3s at some level. But, you know, rep ranges in the 5 to 6 area, they build a lot of muscle. They build good quality, thick, dense muscle. And if you're having problems pulling something for a single, you need to go back to those lighter weights. 1, to work your speed, and 2, to really, like I said, build up those deficiencies. The fourth thing for the deadlift is don't max every single week. I see guys doing this all the time. They're always maxing. They're always, you know, kind of spinning their wheels, and it's because they go too heavy. The deadlift is kind of one of those lifts that you have to really build, test. You can't always be testing, because when you test the deadlift over and over, what you're going to do is you're going to burn out. It stresses the central nervous system to a great degree, and it's just a really difficult thing to do over and over. Well, the last tip is something that I've not always been a big proponent of, but as I've gotten stronger and I've worked with more lifters and I've worked with stronger lifters, this is something that I think is very important. Overloads. How do you overload the deadlift? Well, that can either come through block pulls, rack pulls, or using straps. I know that I've never really been big on using straps myself, but if you can pull 6 reps for something with your bare hands and you can pull 8 to 10 with straps, you're going to get a lot more musculature work out of that. Now, that's not necessarily the kind of overload I'm talking about. Let's say I can pull 800, no straps. Well, I put the straps on and now I can pull 830. What that's going to allow you to do is do some overloads. How do you do overloads with the block pulls or the rack pulls? Well, just find where you're weak. Put the bar just a little bit below your weakest position and do a little bit more weight than you normally could, or do more rep work in that area that build up the muscles like I've talked about in the past. So those are 5 quick tips that I guarantee will bring your deadlift up, and you'll be thanking me later. Thanks for watching. See you next time.